in language for September 2nd. So today we are talking about looking for out of the ordinary subjects. So get out your sheet that you took notes on the other day. I believe it was just yesterday in your language. Get that sheet out and make you a new title on the sheet. Out of the ordinary subjects, and you're going to take these notes today. Excuse me, and this will help you to remember how we locate out of the ordinary subjects. So our first sentence on our, remember, pause the video whenever you need to stay up, okay? Our first sentence on the video is, close the door, please. What kind of sentence is that? That is an imperative sentence. And in an imperative sentence, the subject is always and forever you. Always. The subject will always be you. Make your bed, please. Our verb is make. Who or what is to make? You. Stop that noise. Stop is our verb. Who or what is to stop? You. So in an imperative sentence, remember an imperative sentence gives a command. The subject is always and forever you. It will not be there. You will need to write it in parentheses in the front of your sentence and underline it one time. That is your subject. Close is our verb. Who or what is to close? You close. Remember, it will not be there. It's understood. It's a given that we just know that in an imperative sentence, a sentence that gives a command, the subject will always be you. So when they ask you to underline your verb 2 times and your subject once, you will have to write it at the front of your sentence in parentheses with a capital Y and underline it. So that is our first out of the ordinary subject. Our second out of the ordinary subject is in an interrogative sentence. Our sentence is, will you go with me? What is our verb in this sentence? Will is always and forever a verb, and I can stand up and go, will go. And who or what will go? You. So most times, this is not all the time. This is all the time for an imperative sentence. For an interrogative sentence, this is not all the time, but it is most of the time. Most times in an interrogative sentence, your subject will be found in the middle of a verb phrase. Will you go with me? And so you would find your verb, will go, and who or what go, you. And then you can kind of turn it into a declarative sentence to make sure it makes sense. You will go with me. And that definitely makes sense. So will go is our verb, and you is our subject. So in an interrogative sentence, most times the subject is in the middle of the verb phrase. Okay? And then our last out of the ordinary kind of subject is sometimes our subjects can be one word, sometimes it can be 2 words, sometimes it can be several words, like in the sentence that we are about to look at. So if we say, Mom is making a cake today, our verb is making, who or what is making, Mom. In that case, our subject is 1 word. But if we say, Dr. Brown is going on vacation, is going is our verb, who or what is going, Dr. Brown. So Dr. Brown is our subject. Our subject is 2 words. Now, if we were saying, Little Red Riding Hood is my favorite story. Is our verb, it's on our verb list. Who or what is Little Red Riding Hood. So in that case, our subject is what? Little Red Riding Hood is 3 words, okay? Now look at this sentence. 5 little peppers, actually this should be underlined because it's the title of a book. Okay, so 5 little peppers and how to grow them is a favorite children's story. Okay, so is our verb. Who or what is? 5 little peppers and how to grow them. That is our subject. So if all of those words refer to one thing, the book or a doctor or a story, then all of those words can be your subject. So those are our out of the ordinary subjects. So go ahead and get out your language books, pause the video whenever you need to, and turn to page 46. And look at think. It says underline the verb 2 times and subject 1 time. If the subject is understood, write it in the blank. So what would be our understood subject? What kind of sentence would it come in? An understood subject would come in an imperative sentence giving a command. It's understood that you are to close the door. It's understood that you are to make your bed. It's understood that you are to walk the dog. It's understood that you are to take out the trash. Or it's understood that you should be listening closely. Or it's understood that you should be taking your notes, okay? So in an imperative sentence, it's understood. The understood is you, the subject, okay? All right, so look at number 1. The World Book Encyclopedia has some helpful information on that topic. What is our verb? It's on our verb list. Has. And who or what has? World Book Encyclopedia. That is our subject. Underline it once. Underline the verb has 2 times. Number 2. Look that up for us, Mitchell. Okay, look that up for us. What kind of sentence is this? It is an imperative sentence. It's giving a command. So look is our verb. Who or what is to look? You. Put your you with your capital Y in parentheses on the line. Even though Mitchell is at the end of the sentence, the subject is always understood you. Okay? Let me say it again. The subject is always understood you. Even if I said, make your bed, Carmen. Make is the verb. You is the subject. Because I'm talking, because it is an imperative sentence. The subject to an imperative sentence is always you. Feed the dog, Levi. Feed is our verb. Who or what is to feed? You. It's an imperative sentence. The subject is always and forever you. Okay? Number 3. The war between the states lasted for almost 5 years. So what's our verb? Lasted. Underline it twice. And who or what lasted? War between the states is our subject. That should be underlined once. President Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation. Signed is our verb. And who or what signed? President Lincoln. Very good. That is our subject. Have you passed in your history homework? So we have an interrogative one. Interrogative sentence. Most times the subject is in the middle of the verb phrase. So our verb phrase is have passed. And who or what have passed? You. You is our subject. Very good. Serve the Lord with gladness. What is our verb? Serve. What kind of sentence is it? It is imperative. It's giving a command. So your subject is automatically you. Very good. Write it in parentheses with a capital Y. Number 7. Love thy neighbor as thyself. What is our verb? Love. What kind of sentence is it? Imperative. It's giving a command. So what is our understood subject? Always and forever? You. Write it in parentheses on the line with the capital Y. Are you going to the parade today? So we have another interrogative sentence. Most times the subject is in the middle of the verb phrase. So our verb is are going. And who or what are going? You. Right there it is in the middle of our verb phrase. Look at that. Go back. It says write the numbers of the sentences and think which are declaratives. So you're going to do that on your own. You find your declarative sentences and write the numbers on the line. Which sentences are imperative? Do the same. And which sentences are interrogative? Do the same. Turn to page 47. In page 47, it says look closely. It says sometimes words come before or after the subject in the sentence. The subject is not always the first word, and the verb is not always next to the subject. I'm going to read that again. I'm hoping you're reading with me. The subject is not always the first word of a sentence, and the verb is not always right next to the subject. I'm going to read it again. The subject is not always the first word in the sentence, And the verb is not always right next to the subject. Do not be fooled. Find the action or state of being verb and then ask who or what to find your subject. That is always the surefire way of doing it correctly. Find any word that is on our verb list. This is why our verb lists are so important. Am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been. Have, has, had, do, does, did, shall, will, should, would, may, might, must, can, could. If you do not know those, you need to know them. You need to learn them and you need to know them. Because that is the first thing you must do is look to see if there's any word in your verb list. And then look and see, is there anything that I can stand up and do? And that will be your verb. If you cannot stand up and do it, then it's not a verb. If it's not on your verb list, then it's not a verb. Okay? All right, and then you will say your verb and ask who or what to find your subject. Look at the first example there, up there in the box. After language class, the students in room 10 will go to lunch. So our verb phrase is will go. And who or what will go? Not the class, not room. Who or what will go? Students will go. Students is our subject. Sometimes other words come between the parts of a verb. Look at the first example there. He would always obey his parents. What is our verb phrase in this sentence? Would is on our verb list, and we can stand up and obey, but is always on our verb list? Or can we stand up and always? No. So our verb is would obey. You cannot underline always as part of your verb because that is not a verb. You cannot stand up and always is not on our verb list. So would obey is our verb, and who or what would obey? He is our subject. Look at the next example sentence. Christina didn't know the answer. So there is a verb phrase in here. First of all, let's talk about this. Didn't. The word didn't. What two words, or didn't is the contraction for what two words? Did not. Now, no matter whether you are A or B students or whether you are remote, you have heard me tell you something about not. What have I told you about not? Not can, say it with me. Not can never, ever, 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 ever be a verb. So in this sentence, our sentence says Christina didn't know the answer. But we know that did is on our verb list. Have, has, had, do, does, did. It's on our verb list. So when we underline our verb, we have to underline did. Do not underline the N apostrophe T because that stands for not. And not may never, ever, 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 ever be a verb. So did know is our verb. Who or what did know? Christina is our subject. Let me see. All right, so let's look at think A. It says underline the verb 2 times and the subject 1 time. If the subject is understood, write it in the blank. And we're going to do a few of these together, and then the rest of this assignment will be a graded assignment. Okay? Let me make my note here. Page 47 is graded. All right, so number 1, did Longfellow or Whittier write the first snowfall? So I see a word in there that's always and forever on our verb list, and I see something that we can stand up and do. What is our, well, what's our verb phrase? Did write. And who or what did write? Longfellow, Whittier. Okay, so did write is underlined twice. That's our verb phrase. Longfellow, Whittier is our subject. It's underlined once. When did Columbus discover America? What is our verb here? It's an interrogative sentence, so more than likely we're going to have a verb phrase and our subject is going to be in the middle of it, more than likely. And I do see a word that is always and forever on our verb list, and something we can stand up and do. Probably be pretty fun if we did. Did discover is our verb phrase. And who or what did discover? Columbus. Columbus is our subject. Underline it once. Number 3, look at the strange animal in that cage. What is our verb? Look. What kind of sentence is it? It's giving us a command. Look at that strange animal in that cage. It's an imperative sentence, and the subject in an imperative sentence is always and forever you. So you will put you in parentheses on the line with a capital Y. The rest of this exercise you will complete on your own. Do your best and make it really, really good. Oh, wait, coming back to you. You will be reading Rosa, chapter 3 for your book report, and write your summary. You will just keep going down your page. You need to turn your page to the back side by now. 3 to 5 sentences about Rosa, chapter 3. Remember, your summaries will count as a quiz grade, and your book report will count as a test